So good day, let's start with the artist biography. So this is the picture of Mideo Cruz, and Mideo Cruz was born in 1973. He lived in Gapan City, Nueva Ecija. He also a performance, media, and visual artist. He is a recipient of the Ateneo de Manila Art Awards in 2006 and the Cultural Center of the Philippines 13 Artist Awards in 2003. Mideo Cruz is also part of the group Colong, and he made a very controversial art, which is the Politeísmo, and he also make a art called Lordics. So this is the Politeísmo, and this is the Lordics. Mideo Cruz has also a memes. So ginawan siya ng memes ng mga tao, and this is it.
Mideo Cruz is an active cross-disciplinar. What is cross-disciplinar? Cross-disciplinar is an general term used to refer to any activity that involves two or more academic disciplines. This said that Mideo Cruz artist organizer based in Manila. Cruz is a facile generator of anxiety and debate and is skilled in production of excitingly intellectual images and forms within the unorthodox. Mideo M. Cruz. Mideo M. Cruz is a performance, media, and visual artist who has exhibited extensively in the Art Center of Asia. He is a recipient of the Ateneo de Manila Art Awards in 2006 and the Cultural Center of the Philippines. Mideo M. Cruz gets death threats. Artist Mideo Cruz is now at the eye of one of the biggest controversies in the Philippines visual art scene. His latest work, Politeísmo, is being vilified left and right by various religious groups and influential leaders, and an ABS-CBN reporter has even come out with a column suggesting that Cruz should be forced to drink a muriatic acid.
Polytheism is a worship of or belief in multiple deities, which are usually assembled into a pantheon of gods and goddesses, along with their own religions and rituals. Some religions which accept polytheism, the different gods and goddesses, a representation of forces of nature or ancestral principles, and can be viewed either as autonomous or as aspect of emanations of a creator deity or transcendental absolute principle, which manifests immediately in nature. Mideo M. Cruz is a cross-disciplinary artist and activist based in Gapan City, Nueva Ecija, Philippines. His artworks often showcase bold and provocative statements on the social structure. Specifically, Cruz takes his activism from the street to his art by creating a political yet humorous work, igniting individual and collective social conversations. Cruz devotes his time in searching the truth beneath the sanitized and censored declarations from existing institutions. Cruz and a group of artists or activists establish a group of Cultural. Tugatlahi is an art collective that aims to promote and popularize the role and culture of an art in nation building. Mideo Cruz is a post-war and contemporary artist. Their work was featured in an exhibition at the Palace de Tokyo. Cruz's work has been offered at auction multiple times. He organized the international artist network called the New World Disorder, initiating art events and interventions to question and challenge the capitalism and imperialist globalization. He is a recipient of the Cultural Center of the Philippines 13 Artist Award in 2003 and the Ateneo Art Awards in 2006. In 2008, Cruz received an Asian Cultural Council or ACC Fellowship to participate in residences at the Headlands Art Center in California and Point B Work Lodge in New York City. In 2011, His installation of politismo became one of the most controversial pieces in the Philippine art scene, stirring national debate on aesthetics, religion, and politics.
Cruz Politismo is part of the Exhibit Kulo group exhibition at the Cultural Center of the Philippines. Mideo Cruz says that he never goes out of his way to offend, but I do like to provoke debates and critical thinking.
Mideo Cruz says that art is a way of expressing one's views about the world, culture, and history. And this is what I do in my work. The audience is free to make their own conclusions and interpretations about the image I create. But I must confess I didn't expect anyone to react violently against politism. Major Cruz says, Cruz Politismo is part of the exhibit Kuluk.
Existing interviews of Mideo Cruz Bintor. Politismo artist Mideo Cruz talks about visual trauma. Mideo Cruz' hair was tousled, his face sleepy as he shuffled around a Manhattan apartment in his flip-flops, while his wife prepared food for a small party of 8. They were hosting that night. He slumped on a chair, his posture wrinking his shirt, but not the bold words printed on it. Tangina, this once a name, now a movement associated with socio-political irrelevance and humor. Ang buhok ni Mideo Cruz ay nakulong, inaantok ang kanyang mukha habang nagpalipat-lipat siya sa isang apartment, habang ang kanyang asawa ay naghanda ng pagkain para sa isang maliit na pagdiriwang na 8 paghus nila sa gabing iyon. Bumagsak siya sa isang upuan. Ang kanyang postura ay kumunot sa kanyang shirt, ngunit hindi nakabold ng mga salitang nakaprint dito. Tangina, dating isang pangalan ngayon ay isang kilusan na naiignay sa kawalang respeto. 2 years ago in Manila, Mideo was embroiled in a furious controversy when he unveiled an installation showing the image of Christ and a penis. The collage called Kulo. For 6 weeks, Mideo was in newspaper headline Filipinos were either threatening to kill him or offering novenas for him. The CCP was exorcised by the hard Catholics and charges of obscenity were filed against the activity artist. The charges have been dropped. 2 taon na ang nakalipas sa Maynila, si Mideo ay napaloob sa isang galit na kontrobersya nang ilabas niya ang isang pag-install ng nagpapakita ng imahe ni Christ at isang ari. Ang collage na tinatawag na Palestino ay bahagi ng isang grupo or exhibit sa Cultural Center of the Philippines or CCP na tinawag na Kulo. Sa loob ng 6 na linggo, si Mideo ay nasa headline na pahayagan. Ang mga Pilipino ay maaring nagbanta na patayin siya o mag-alok ng mga nobenas. Para sa kanya, ang CCP ay pinatalsik ng dihard ng mga Katoliko at ang mga kasong malaswang ay sinampa laban sa abstika artista. Ang mga singil ay naiiba. Looked like apartment, his sparse except for some paintings and photographs on the wall, vintage record albums on the floor and couple of balikbayan boxes ready for shipment back of the Philippines. An American flag was dropped over the boxes. Hanggang ngayon meron sa Facebook minumura ako, said Mideo holding his red frame glasses as he settled into the deep cushions of a blue sofa, crossed his legs and began to ease up. Now he can smile about it. Ang mga lalof na apartment ay kalat-kalat, maliban sa mga ilang mga kwadrado ng gawa at litrato sa dingding, mga antigo na album na record sa sahig at isang pares ng mga kahon na balikbayan na handa ng ipadala pabalik sa Pilipinas. Isang watawat ng Amerikano ang natakip sa mga kahon. Hanggang ngayon meron na Facebook pinamura ako, sabi pa ni Mideo na hawak ang kanyang pulang nakaprame na baso habang siya ay umaayos sa malalim na unan ng isang asul na sopa. Tumawid sa kanyang mga binti at nagsimulang humihaon. Ngayon ay nakangiti na siya tungkol dito. When his wife was thrown into chaos by the sensation caused by his collage, he recalled, my phone was running every 5 minutes because we're communicating, palipat-lipat ako ng bus. Stress ako, baka may magrally sa harap ng bahay because ibig publish our address. Hindi umaandar utak ko, hindi ako makapag-isip, continue the mild-mannered soft-spoken man.
Raquel shared an incident where they were on a bus and she sensed something that made her uncomfortable. She texted Mideo seated beside her to get off at the next stop. Nagtataka ako bakit kaya kami bababa dito. He wondered to himself but obliged. Paranoia had gripped the couple. Mideo did not want that to affect his family so he urged them to block him on Facebook. I don't want my family to get involved, he said. So nagbahagi si Raquel ang isang insidente kung saan nakasakay sila ng isang bus. So Raquel there is his wife of Mideo. So si Raquel may naramdaman siyang ibang bagay na hindi siya komportable. Tenext niya kaagad si Mideo na nakaupo sa tabi niya upang bumaba sa susunod na hintuan. So nagtataka siya ba't daw sila bababa dito. Nagtataka siya ngunit pinilit niya pa rin. Hinawakan ni Paranoia ang mag-asawa. Si Mideo naman, ayaw niya na maapektuhan ang kanyang pamilya, kaya hinimok niya na i-block sa Facebook kasi ayaw niya na madamay ang kanyang pamilya. Mideo was born and raised in Gapan, Nueva Ecija. Mideo came to Manila in college when he became an art student at UST. His father is a retired Marine and his mother is a public school teacher, are devoted Catholics. He is the youngest of 4 siblings, also the only artist. His siblings work in government and business. As a young boy, he would color newspaper which stick of his father. To indulge his son's favorite playtime, the elder Cruz gave him a bunch of coloring book. So, pinanganak pala at lumaki si Mideo sa Gapan, Nueva Ecija. Si Mideo ay dumating sa Manila sa college nung siya ay naging estudyante ng sining sa UST. Ang kanyang ama ay isang retired Marine. Ang kanyang ina naman ay isang guro sa pampublikong paaralan. Sila ay mga deboto sa Katolik. Siya rin ay bunso sa 4 na magkakapatid. At siya rin ang nag-iisang artist sa kanilang magkakapatid dahil ang kanyang mga kapatid ay nagtatrabaho sa gobyerno and business. So as a young boy, kinulayan niya ang dyaryo kung saan tik ang kanyang ama upang i-indulge ang kanyang anak na paboritong oras ng paglalaro. In high school, Mideo took up photograph, also encouraged by his parents until it became quite expensive to pursue. College allowed him to explore other forms of arts, other media, but always his message were of social and political activism. He was one of the founders of Ugat Lahi, a group of artists who created effigies for protest rallies. Nung high school, kumuha si Mideo ng litrato na hinekayat din niya ang kanyang mga magulang hanggang sa maging medyo mahal na upang ituloy. Pinapayagan siya ng college na galugurin ang iba pang uri ng mga sining, ibang media, ngunit ang kanyang mga mensahe ay sosyal at pampolitiko na aktivismo. Siya ay isa sa mga nagtatag ng Ugat Lahi, isang pangkat ng artist na lumilikha ng imahe o statue para sa mga rally. He came to New York in March to visit his wife and also to participate in a couple of collaborative exhibitions. More importantly, the couple is able to reclaim some peace for themselves where they are not interrupted grocery shopping. For example, though they plan to stay good, they shrug neither a yes nor oh no, which seems to indicate several options are being contemplated. So si Mideo dumating siya sa New York noong March upang bisitahin ang kanyang asawa at upang makilahok din sa isang couple at collaboration exhibition. Mas mahalaga ang mag-asawa muling makuha ang kanilang kapayapaan.
Politician's target. A condom is dropped over a portrait of former Philippines President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. Posters and banners bearing Philippines politicians' faces are also a common sight in the streets and even in Filipinos' homes. Cruz also wanted to show through his work what he perceives as political and social ills of the country. There were also a few crucifix dropped in condoms interspersed all over the exhibit. Deface Christ. Angry Catholics remove and destroy a phallic symbol that was attached to the forehead of this image of Jesus. They also vandalize other pieces in Cruz College, as well as artworks by other artists in the gallery. A Discover Act like exhibit would certainly fuel more disorders acts. Joe Jimbong, a devoted Catholic lawyer who plans to file a criminal lawsuit against Cruz and the CCP on behalf of Catholic groups.
So the first artwork is the Not Christ Anymore. Cruz says he was not mocking Jesus or the Christian faith when he attached a Red Bull and Mickey Mouse ears to an image of Jesus Christ. Mideo Cruz says, the one we are worshipping is not Christ anymore. It changed. It's become capitalism. I'm trying to understand how sacredness was attributed to the figure and trying to reconstruct it with the parallel meanings like Coca-Cola and Mickey Mouse. So the second artwork is the cross with a phallus. This artwork is one of the most controversial pieces in the exhibit. It is a wooden cross with a phallic symbol hanging on its base. Cruz says he meant to show through his artwork the evolution of Christian worship and culture of idolatry, particularly in the Philippines. He insists the cross does not necessarily represent Christ. The mirror at the center of the cross is meant to reflect how we have created our idols and how our idols have created us.
Mideo Cruz artwork Politismo, which part of the exhibit entitled Kulo at the Cultural Center of the Philippines. Mideo Cruz artwork sprung controversy up to the point that various religious leaders and prominent personalities like the former First Lady Imelda Marcos gave their negative feedback regarding it. He cited how a portrait of Virgin Mary smeared with the elephant dung led then Mayor Rudy Giuliani to threaten to close the Brooklyn Museum of the Art. Cruz painted the face of President Duterte and the Sacred Heart of Jesus without a heart and holding a gun in his left hand. His artworks draws criticism and negative feedbacks from the social media users for using the image of Jesus Christ in vain.
So theme and subject. So I will discuss the theme and the subject, and Junlin Rendon will discuss one artwork of Mideo Cruz, and she will explain what is the theme and the subject of this artwork. So first is the theme. A theme is not the same as a subject. A theme is the idea the writer wishes to reveal about a subject. A theme is usually expressed in a full sentence, while a subject is a topic a writer is writing about, and a subject is usually expressed in a word or two: love, childhood, or death. So, just like for example, in the artwork, you saw a family. So family there is the subject, and the theme there is like, it's like for example, most people can be themselves around their families is a theme. So just like this artwork, there is a family. Then the subject there is the family, and the theme there is ano yung ginagawa ng family, ano yung pinapahiwatig, ano yung pinapakita ng family doon, yun yung theme.
So, I will be discussing the subject and theme of one of the artworks of Mideo Cruz, the Politismo. It is one of the artworks exhibited in the main gallery of Cultural Center of the Philippines in time with the nation's celebration of Dr. Rizal's 150th birthday.
In Politismo, the artist Cruz tackled the subject of idolatry, what present society would usually deem as heroes, adored, admired, or worshipped. According to the exhibition notes, the work speaks of idolatry and the construction of neo-deities. Two main points of the installation are the relic and the pun or the image of Christ, which represents our cultural past, and the transformation of the deity from the Greco-Roman statuette to an epitome of neoliberal economy respectively. Basically, all the pieces reflect the neo-deities that are everywhere, but we are in denial that these exist and are actually happening. Politismo, or translated as many gods, is actually a three-wall canvas installation entirely covered with various images and papers, calendars, bus tickets, old school certificates, photographs, political posters, postcards, advertisements, and other printed materials. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph are not the only images featured, but also the portraits of Robert Jaworski, Alma Concepcion, two Thai actors, and U.S. President Barack Obama. Politismo is a wall collage. The manner was practically inspired by what we see in common houses where people put pictures of celebrities, politicians, etc. on the wall of their houses. The relic, originally titled Relic of My Nation, done in 2004, is the making of the Filipinos after several layers of colonization, partly inspired by how we got the name of the country in paradigm to the monarchical trend of collecting religious relics. Pun, deconstructing the sacredness and reconstructing the icon with parallel meaning. Coca-Cola and Mickey Mouse as epitome of neoliberalism. Most of the outcry has been about the phallic object placed on the works. Phalluses have been objects of devotion in many cultures. They use them as amulets, symbolic statues, etc. They might be a symbol of power and patriarchy.